Hey, welcome. Welcome to our show here tonight. Welcome to We'll Sing and We'll Shout. I am your host, Steve Hansen, and we've got Cheryl online for everybody's favorite episode of the week. Cheryl, I know it's Merlin's favorite episode. Cheryl's boyfriend's countdown calendar. How is that? How is the actual calendar coming along? Do you got that thing put together yet?
I can't figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
I need to collect pictures, but I think some of my pictures might be up in my storage unit in Bellevue, and some of them I got like half my stuff here and half my stuff there, which is very
Right,
irritating because I was going to
right,
try to do pictures of each guy. I think I have them. I may not have pictures of the two guys today, but
right. So that was for me, that was so much fun last night talking about those two girls from Columbus, Ohio.
hmm
And how they totally, well, especially it was mainly Mindy, but totally shaped my thoughts about fashion. And as you remember, when I went on my mission to Australia, I had all cotton suits and or all cotton shirts and all wool suits.
yep.
And I have been that way ever since then. Now I do think I've got some polyester blend stuff in my
hmm
closet. I do, but it's primarily 100% wool or 100% cotton.
I think we tried to
And
do that for Christopher too when he went.
and that and that all comes from that one comment there in the hall in the
Well,
Olentangy Chapel. So
uh, she wasn't wrong.
you girls are hard on boys. I don't know if you
Aw,
realize this or not, but you are. Um, one little, one little indication, and
sideways
the whole
comment.
world. Yeah,
Yeah.
one little sideways comment, and the whole world shifts when you're a teenage boy.
hmm
So, and maybe even as you get older too. I guess I think there's that one country guy that sings that song about how she gives them that wink or whatever.
Uh,
And my girls they don't like go around singing that all the time, but occasionally they have, and it's always pretty funny. But anyway, I was just going to say, so I was at the rec center again today. I was there, was that Saturday morning or whatever. I mean, I'm just so amazed at the strength that I've put on in the last 6 months. I haven't lost any more weight. I'm still hanging around 180. That is
mhm.
frustrating to me because I'm really trying to lose
Yeah,
weight.
but you're putting on muscle. That's a huge
But I
difference.
am, but the machines that I use at the rec center, I have a certain set of about 8 machines that I use. I am 50 to 70% stronger than I was 6 months ago.
That's
It
crazy.
is, it is amazing to me. It is
Yeah.
amazing to me how much stronger and how much easier it is for me to move the weight around and how I move it around. I'm just like dumbfounded. I have been using, I use my balance before my main meal, and this is just a fiber matrix, but also does a lot of good for your metabolic health. But here about 3 or 4 months ago, I've been incorporating this product here, Stronghold from Unicity, and this has creatine in it and other
Does
things
it
that
help you build muscle?
helps you build muscle and also maintain muscle while you're losing weight. And I'll
Is it
tell you,
is it expensive?
no, it's the same price. You can get it.
Okay.
You can get it the same price. This has been amazing. Like this has been. I have really felt this have an impact. This has been amazing. So I actually combine these. I drink these together,
Yeah.
and maybe with just a little more water, I drink these together, and that has been like that has
I
been a
might need
game
to get some
changer
of that because I
for
have
me.
worried about as I'm losing weight that I'm losing muscle. I can kind of feel it.
Huh.
So I need to
Well,
do
I'll tell you,
something to exchange that protein.
yeah, I definitely would recommend that. But it's the same price as the other stuff. It's like $1.50 a stick.
Right.
So it's been freaking amazing. I'm just so happy with these nutraceuticals that I use. No medications, no doctor involvement, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's been such a huge blessing in my life to come across this company that is so focused on people's health and their real well-being and getting them off medications and getting them to a much better place metabolically. And when you fix your metabolic health, it is amazing how many other things start to fall into line. So that was our little commercial on that.
hmm
Today is Victoria's birthday. Victoria
Oh,
turns
nice.
Victoria Ann was born 24 years ago at the Rockford Memorial Hospital. She was the first of our four kids born in Illinois, and she is just an amazing child. She is finishing up her mechanical engineering degree.
Nice.
So my other girls are doing culinary arts and kind of girly stuff, which
Uh
is
huh.
great. but she's out there taking on mechanical engineering, and she's doing great.
I'm sure.
She's super smart. She's got three older brothers who are all engineers, so she's like, I can do this, and she is. So she's got one more year left. She would like to design cars.
Hmm.
She would like to go work for a car company and design cars. So we'll see, how that works out. That may be a tough road, but you don't get there unless you start. So
Yeah, her name's Victoria Ann, and then my youngest is named Hannah Victoria, but we call her Annie.
okay.
So
Oh,
very
cool.
similar names, just kind of switched around.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very cool.
Hmm.
Victoria is our tallest daughter. She's like 5'7".
Yeah,
So Ellen is right up there near that, but
yeah.
but
Ellen
not
looks tall and slender.
but not quite. Ellen always has big heels on. She likes
Mm.
to take the height she has and then just use it to try to tower over people.
Yeah, sort of like Karen Herwatt.
Now, okay, be careful there. But I
That's
know.
her actual name, I swear.
Oh, I know it is, but I know the
Mhm.
comment that comes next. Um,
I'm
so
being quiet.
so that's why I'm just throwing up a flag there. Like, let's be careful.
Hmm.
Um,
Asterisk.
so but yeah, Ellen likes to put on the 6-inch heels, but Kenny has grown now to the point where it doesn't matter what size heel Ellen puts on.
He's still
Kenny,
taller.
he's still taller. So
Yeah, well, that's
so
good.
so that's kind of fun. So we're gonna
Mhm.
finish this live, and then I got to run up and cut the concrete lines in this 12 by 34 pad that we poured last week, and then get that concrete saw back to Home Depot tonight, so I don't have to pay an extra $40.
Right.
So without further ado, let's let you take it away.
All right. Well, tonight we're going to be discussing a couple of Marines that I dated. And when I was in 11th grade, at the end of my junior year, I guess school was out by this point. I went out for the Bellevue Cherry Festival Queen, and there were 10 of us, and we had Mrs. Mrs. Urick was the kind of the leader of the pageant, and she always had us escorted by some sort of military. I think it was usually Marines. So they would kind of walk us up to our spot, and then they would stand behind our chair for the entire pageant. They would just
Right,
stand there. Right.
right.
And so I cannot honestly remember who I had the first year when I actually ran for queen. And I came in first runner up. And I don't remember much about my escort that year. But the following year, when I had to like give away my crown, we had to be there and be all dressed up for that as well. Um, Dad, it was the afternoon before the pageant, and Dad got a phone call, and somebody was threatening my life. Said I better not show up at the pageant that night, which is so
Oh,
stupid because I had already won. I was not like I was any competition for anybody. I was just going to crown whoever the first runner up was. But somebody
I
was threatening.
totally, I totally forgot about that until you mentioned it now. I do remember that. That was kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody called Dad and was threatening me. So
The
there was
Bellevue,
some
the
talk
Bellevue
about,
Cherry,
I know, should I even go to
the,
the pageant, And
the
then,
Bellevue
I
Cherry
was brave
Festival.
enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to go. I'm not going to let somebody just like,
Yeah.
just irritate me or try to intimidate me. I'm just not going to let that happen. So I went. And when we were there, they were discussing with the Marines like this threat that was supposedly on my life. And so the Marine, um, Jim Persons was his name, and he was the master sergeant, and he was in charge of everyone. And he
Okay.
was probably 40 to 45 around this time. And so he talked to my dad and made Dad comprehend that they would all watch me very closely and that nothing was going to happen to me while he was around. So
Yeah.
he like put all the other Marines on alert to kind of watch out for me. So Dad felt comfortable at that point, letting me go ahead and do it. So he escorted me around the Cherry Festival, and then, well, he escorted me at the pageant, and then after the pageant, we all walked from the Bellevue Junior High downtown to where the festival was. So we were all walking along Main Street there in front of like the drugstore and the roofing store and all that. We were all walking along there. And we didn't really, we went to the we went to the festival and stayed for probably an hour, and there was no problems at all. But I think because he was being protective and watchful over me, I liked that. I thought, look how important I am. I got this whole Marine Corps is looking out for me, and I really started to just like him. We just had a really fun time together. So before we ended for the night, he asked me if he could take me out, and I was like, and I had just broke up with Dobie, so I was feeling a little lonely, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go out with you. So a few nights later, he comes down the lane in his shaggin' wagon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that thing. Yep. I
Yep,
don't
he had
know
one of
that I
those
was. I think you know what? I think I did actually go somewhere with you guys one time in that
in that
thing.
thing.
I
Yeah.
think I think I was in that thing one time.
He had the back seat that like folded down. It like actually like laid down into a couch,
Right.
like a bed, actually.
He was he was ready to go.
He was ready to go, and he probably had the shag carpet in there and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
So he pulls into the parking in the farm there and goes around the circle, and he gets out and he comes up to get me, and of course Dad's there, and he shakes Dad's hand and talks to him, and I don't know if Dad had met him at the Cherry Festival or not, but I'm thinking Dad's probably shocked at how old this guy is. I was all of
Right.
17. I think I was still 17. I think
I
I turned 18 just before I went to Rexburg.
I remember I don't know, I was around to see that. Like I remember Dad standing there talking to him, and I think Dad just wanted to make sure he understood that this is my daughter here, and um,
There
you
won't be no
know,
funny business.
you need to watch your step. I mean, that's not what he said, but that was the message that was coming across.
Right.
So,
And Dad probably wasn't much older than Jim. I was 17. Jim had to be 40.
oh, that's
Um,
interesting. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So Dad must have just kind of been rolling his eyes at me, but he trusted me. So I really appreciated that. So he let me go off with Jim. And I don't remember if we went and saw a movie or what happened. But I was working at Burger Chef at the time up in Bellevue. And I'd be working there. And then sometimes Jim would just come in. In fact, one Saturday he told me he was going to come in and see me. So the whole time I kept volunteering to go out and wipe off the tables so I could look out the window and see if his van was coming towards the Burger Chef. So it was probably 2 or 3 hours. I was out there every 10 minutes wiping off the tables and looking for him. And he finally did show up. And he ate and he sat there for a while. And I might have taken my break and went out and sat with them. I don't remember. But so I don't remember what tipped me off, but I really started to think. I did ask him if he was married, and he said that he had married this woman that had saved him in Vietnam.
Hmm.
Um, and I was like, well, where is she now? And he's like, oh, well, we're divorced. She lives over in Clyde in an apartment or something. And I was like, all right, well. So I talked to Sherry about it, and Sherry was also dating a Marine that she had escorted her at the festival. His name was Nick. Nick, it'll come to me. Um, I can't think of it. But anyway, Italian, like most of the people in Bellevue. So Sherry was dating this guy named Nick, and I think Nick tipped Sherry off to the fact that Jim was married. And even though he told me he wasn't married. So that's when Sherry and I had that big adventure that I talked about last week. So if you haven't heard the story of Sherry and Cheryl discovering whether Jim was married or not, you'll have to listen to last week's episode. I don't know if it was Monday night or not when we discussed that whole thing. But anyway,
Um, yeah,
I
I
can't
think it
remember.
was just this last. I think it was just last Monday. Yeah,
Yeah, oh yeah, because we talked about Dobie. And then I went
there
into
was
who I dated right after Dobie, and it was Jim.
there was one part of that story that, in my recollection of that story, that you left out.
What's that?
Yeah. Uh, when you guys went over there, well, it had something to do with somebody needing to go to the bathroom. So,
Well, that's why we went uptown after Jim discovered us. We went uptown to use the toilet there at the whatever gas station is right there on the main drag in Clyde. That's why
oh,
we went
okay,
up there because one of us needed to go. But
yeah,
I know you're thinking of a different guy. You're thinking of Shelley Irvine. We
okay,
drove clear over to Shelley Irvine's house, and we were in the think we were in the Volkswagen van, and it was a
Probably.
terrible storm that night. So the Volkswagen van was just running all over the road. So we finally got to Shelly's house about like 2 in the morning, and we didn't want to wake him up. So we just stayed in the van all night. And yeah, Sherry had to pee,
Okay.
and it was raining like cats and dogs. And so she didn't want to like go outside and squat in the bushes or something. So we happened to have a Tupperware bowl. And Sherry peed in the Tupperware bowl
That was the.
in
I
the
couldn't
car.
remember. I couldn't remember who it was, but I knew that that had been part of the story.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, we had so many adventures, her and I. So, oh golly, that's so funny. So I'll talk about Shelley Irvine another time. He's one of the 50. But so Jim and I, well, after I discovered that he was married, I didn't really want to date him anymore. So there was this other Marine that was interested in me from the Cherry Festival, and his name was Scott Knigge. And so after I broke up with Jim, Scott Knigge showed up at the farm and wanted to take me. And so I went with him for like a day trip, and we went all the way up to Lorraine. He lived in Lorraine. And we were up there by the lake, just kind of wandering around, and he just
How old was this dude?
this guy was probably 25. He was way younger than
I
Jim.
I don't I don't have any recollection of him. I don't think I was involved in that one at all.
So more of
So
an appropriate age for me to be dating, even though 17 and 25 is still a stretch. But
yeah.
um, anyway, he was a nice guy. I liked him from the pageant, and so we went on a really nice date. I think he took me out for dinner, and it was a lovely summer day. So we were just outside most of the time. And then he brought me home, and he wrote me, like, I probably still have it. He wrote me the craziest love letter about how he just knew I was the one for him, and he wanted me to be the mother of his children and all sorts of stuff.
Okay.
And he had been dating like all these like sleazy women, and I wasn't like that. So he was really impressed about that. I guess he wanted
Okay.
me because I wouldn't hop right into bed with him. I don't know.
Right.
But he ended up getting transferred somewhere. So that kind of broke off our little romance, which I was actually quite grateful for.
Right.
But there was one time when I was still dating Jim and didn't know he was married yet, that he was a recruiter and his office was in Sandusky, right across from the high school. I think there's a big bridal store there. And his office was kind of in the same building, but around the corner. Right by there's a Burger King on that corner, and there's gas station on that corner. And anyway, it's where Perkins meets Route 4. That's where his office was.
Okay.
So one day, Nick and Jim were both going to be at the office. They were both recruiters, and so Sherry and I decided to drive up and see them because they were both there at the same time. So we drove up there, and I was driving. That's probably the most reckless I have ever driven. We needed to get there in like 15 minutes, or the guys were going to have to go or something. So I was tearing up there, and I kept passing people on Route 4 and just being a total idiot. And, if
Got the
dad had,
hots to see these Marines. Yeah.
yeah, if dad had seen me driving like that, he probably would have taken my license away. But that's the worst I've ever driven was that day. And I was being real stupid. But, we all go through that, I suppose.
Yep.
So we got up there, and Nick and Sherry went off somewhere, and Jim and I were sitting in the office, and somehow we ended up wrestling around on the floor, and we came up like he was on his back and I was on top of him, and I looked down and I looked into his eyes, and there was some really weird force or something. I could see straight into his eyes, and he could see straight into mine. It was almost like we saw each other's souls, and it was the most bizarre experience I've ever had. And he got so spooked, he hopped right up, and I'm like, did something weird happen to you? Because something weird just happened to me. And he's like, that was really weird, really creeped him out. I still don't know what happened that day, but it was
Mhm.
almost like our two spirits remembered each other. So it was really like this weird connection we had. So when I got to, so Scott Knigge left and went somewhere. Jim probably had him transferred knowing that he had dated me.
Right.
Get that guy out of here so I can get my girl back.
Right. Right.
And so I think he did come and say goodbye to me, maybe come by Burger Chef and said goodbye to me before I headed off to college. And when I got to Rick's college, he sent me a big, like, dozen roses, a big flower bouquet. So I think he was still interested in me, which was kind of cute.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
But
So
so that was
I
the
don't
story
know.
of me dating the two Marines.
I don't know what it was that you were doing to these poor guys, but they were just intoxicated.
So weird. I have no clue. I still have no clue. It makes me laugh. Like I was thinking the other day, I was thinking about this time when I was in a play at the Sauk Theater in Jonesville, and we were doing Titanic the musical, and so it was a huge cast, probably 50 cast, and about half female and half male. So before the show, we would go and we would warm up on the stage. So we were up on the stage and everybody was kind of on one side of the stage. And I decided I was going to migrate to the other side of the stage. So into the other side of the stage, and the warm ups took about 15 minutes. So we were up there for quite a while. And while I'm over there, one of the teenage boys kind of came over towards me and we were friends. And so we started talking, between singing. And then another boy kind of came over. And before that session of warm ups was over, I had like 20 men standing around me. And all the women were over there all by themselves. Didn't have any men. But I had all these men standing around me on the stage, and I was like, what the hell kind of power do I have that I can just attract all these guys? And it'll happen to me like I would go to rehearsals or whatever, and I just wanted some time by myself. This was when I was in MASH at the Hillsdale College. So
Right.
I came in and I was kind of feeling grumpy, and it was a pretty good sized theater. So I just went over to the right side of the theater and just sat there by myself while people were coming in. And pretty soon, like Mitch Butler comes and sits beside me, and then like someone else that was in the play. And pretty soon, I am sitting there in the audience with probably 10 men around me. At the time, I was so huge. I was a bigger lady than I am now. So it's not like I'm physically attractive to these guys. I have no clue what my weird power is, except the only thing I can figure is it's just being genuine. I think guys can, I think guys can sniff out a phony a mile away.
Yeah,
And
I'd agree with that. Yeah,
yeah, and if they're just trying to be, if a woman's just trying to be flirtatious, I mean, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't. But if a guy just wants to talk, he doesn't want to talk to a silly female that's just trying to impress them. He wants to talk to a real human.
right.
And I think me being raised with all of you boys, boys didn't intimidate me at all. And I think that was another thing, is that I was just comfortable with men. And I,
Well,
I and I'm still comfortable with men. And it's funny because even little tiny babies, like we'll go to church somewhere and there'll be a little baby boy in front of me and he'll just be flirting away and kind of, you know, wanting to reach for me. And then these old dudes at the grocery store, I told you this earlier. I'll just be walking through the grocery store and all of a sudden some old guy will come up and put his cart right beside mine and just start chatting away to me. I haven't even looked at him. I haven't said hi, anything. They'll just come up and start talking to me. And a lot of times Martin will be at the grocery store with me, but he's gone up ahead and he loves to like look at the meat in the grocery store. So he'll be up there looking at the roasts or the chickens or whatever. And he turns around and I'm standing there and talking to some old guy. And he just looks at me and rolls his eyes. He's
I
like,
wouldn't
oh, there's
say
Cheryl again.
I don't know that this happens to Heidi as often, but that will happen to Heidi quite a bit too. Like the little kids are always mesmerized with Heidi anytime she's around,
Right.
and then guys, if I'm not near her, you know, guys will kind of gravitate towards wanting to talk to her at times,
Yeah.
and it's not like all the time or something, but that does happen, and I do notice that. So anyway, kind of
But
funny.
Heidi's very genuine too, though.
Heidi is very genuine. Yes, yeah,
Yep.
she's very genuine.
So anyway,
So
that's the only thing I can figure is that I'm just genuine and I'm kind. I'm always kind and I'm not like nice. I'm not like putting on a show being kind. I actually generally love people. I genuinely love people. I have the whole Mormon background of knowing
and
we're all brothers and sisters. So, I just know all the people around me. I
and,
probably knew in the pre-existence. So they're all friends. I think they're
and
automatically friends.
You have never said a negative or obnoxious word towards or about a single soul in the
No,
entire time I've known you.
I just love people. I really do. And I think people
I'm
can
joking
sense
with you
that.
there. I'm joking with you there. But anyway,
Well, it's
just
not that I don't gossip, but I do like if I pull up to the drive up window, I always chat the people up that are like working there, especially since COVID, because I always appreciate the fact that these people are working there, and I know it's a drag of a job. So I'm always trying to be polite and fun with them, and so yeah, I have a few friends at the McDonald's drive-through that just know me. They know my voice, and they're just always happy to see me. So that's kind of cute.
But so
But
that song I was talking about, that's Neil McCoy sings this song "Wink," and it's all about just your girlfriend or your wife just winks at you, and the whole world changes. So, and I
yeah,
would say that that's pretty true. So, um, no need for no need for analyze or have a stiff drink. All she's got to do is just give me that drink or give me that wink. So
right.
anyway,
Well,
really good stuff. So my daughters, they don't like go around singing it all the time, but sometimes they'll get on their little country kick, and
hmm
and here comes some Neil McCoy. So um,
well, that's my
nope.
story for this week.
Yeah, that was fantastic. That was good
Yeah.
stuff.
A lot of good
I
stuff. The whole death threat and all that. I mean, I'm not making
Yeah,
that up. I'm sure you remember it.
I do remember that. And I don't think we all thought like that was like super for real, but you still have to at least,
Take it
you
a
have
little
to
bit
be,
serious.
you have to
Mom
take,
and dad were a little worried. They were worried about me going, and they honestly did talk about the fact that they might not want me to go.
yeah. That's so weird that somebody would feel like they needed to do that, but
Yeah, who the heck
whatever.
did that? I mean, for real. Maybe it was Joby.
uh,
I doubt it. That
who,
doesn't seem
so,
like his style.
so who actually got the phone call?
I think it was dad.
Really? That's weird.
Yeah, and I think the person called back again too. I think they called
I could,
twice.
I could see them calling you and trying to make you feel
Intimidate
threatened,
me.
but to call dad, that's kind of weird.
Yeah.
So, um, but anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
All
hey,
right.
good stuff. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that. And tomorrow night, I got a couple different directions I could go. I'm trying to figure out, which direction to go with this next. But so we'll see. I'll get that sorted out. We need to um, we need to get Aaron on here again sometime, and be
Yep.
fun to get David on here again.
Yeah.
So we'll have to figure that out. But
I told
all right.
Steve
Well,
I'm watching Pride and Prejudice, and I like the 1995 mini series that's six six episodes long, and Colin Firth plays Mr. Darcy. So let us know which Pride and Prejudice you prefer, whether it's that one or the Keira Knightley version, which was like 2005, maybe.
yeah, I really
Something like
like the
that.
Kira one because, well, I guess I like Kira.
Yeah.
Um, but and she does a really great job in that one. So
And
plus,
there's like four different Emmas from I really
well,
like the Gwyneth Paltrow version myself, but
while I do very much enjoy the story and it is a good show, I can only handle about 2 hours of Pride and Prejudice. I'm not cut out for the 6 hour version.
not a Jane
So,
Austen person.
so do you know? I think we talked about this before, but we are related to her, and
Oh, that's so cool.
and fairly directly, not like right up the line, but not too far off.
That's
So
amazing.
we are related to Jane Austen. So,
Huh. Yeah, one time
well,
I went off to get some videos at the video store, and this is when I was still married to Scott, and he wasn't going to come along with me. So just as I'm heading out the door, he said, "Don't bring home anything with any meaningful dialogue." He wanted an action flick.
right, right, a Rambo or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I probably brought home Star Wars or
So,
Harry Potter or something. But yeah, no meaningful dialogue.
well, hey, let's let these good folks
All
go.
right.
We will be back on
Yep.
tomorrow
And you
night
get to
at
Home
our regular
Depot.
time,
Yep.
and we'll see you then.